I've recently been rewatching all Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation, and it has been quite the journey. And I've been reading the light novel volumes alongside of it, because obviously very soon we're going to be getting new information for Mushoku Tensei in the coming weeks. With AnimeJapan 2023, we're going to probably get a new key visual, a new PV trailer, a full-on release date, actual air date with staff, etc. It's going to be an amazing day. Not just also for Mushoku Tensei fans, but for anime fans in general, because there's going to be a lot of anime that's going to be announced very soon. Potentially even, ReZero Season 3. But, even though that's a possibility, we know for a fact Mushoku Tensei is going to be getting some new information soon. And so I've been kind of journeying through the series, kind of starting from the beginning, watching it, and man oh man, I knew the series was good. Obviously, I made an episode review every single week for it when it was coming out. I knew it was good. I loved it for basically everything it had to offer, but man, sitting down and rewatching some of these episodes, these moments here, seeing just the Rudy, Eris, and all them traveling together, and to the way the opening is used and all that with the music overtones, the backgrounds, etc. It honestly is just such an incredible series. I really missed just watching this show, sitting down and watching it. And when I was just when I got to this episode 21, Turning Point 2, which I think everybody knows is a really big moment for the story, I was just man, what an amazing series. Seriously, everything that was done to this show, just from start to finish, not just this moment as well, but just everything. There is just so many iconic moments that really, I think, blew me away as a watcher of the series, to just someone that just loves fantasy stories. Honestly, I really think they do just such a fantastic job. Studio Bind really went all in for this show, and I think many fans of the show can agree with me that, man, we were really blessed with such a high-quality show. And very soon, we will be having a continuation of this with, Season 2 later this year. But, let's get a little bit deeper. So basically, I've been rewatching it, and I just, kind of reminding myself of the whole plot, the story, etc. Rudy as a character, Eris as a character, getting to see, Paul again, and how Paul and Rudy kind of had that argument and confrontation. Easily one of my favorite moments of the whole show, honestly. I mean, I know we all like Turning Point 2, or maybe the ending scene where Eris kind of leaves Rudy, and we've all talked about that. I've talked about it multiple times. But I think that there's just so many good moments, so many iconic moments that really just stick out to me. Getting to see, the overall, I guess, Roxy's village, getting to see her hometown, find out more about her origins and all that, to, getting to see Rudy's early life of learning magic, that spark of inspiration, so to speak, of someone learning this new world, growing up in this world, to just getting to see, different, I guess, towns and stuff outside of his town that he's been stuck in for a very long time. Just, there's this sense of mystical adventure that Mushoku Tensei gives off when you watch it, and, I think that's one of the big points that, as someone that is now rewatching the show, I really picked up on. It's very clear that, yes, we can praise the artwork, we can praise the animation, we can praise, the characters, we can praise, all these certain little moments. But one thing, besides obviously immersion, that I always kind of just continuously hammered in when I was reviewing the show, is that Mushoku Tensei legitimately has just a really nice, mystical fantasy tone. It's a true fantasy, so to speak. I love the fantasy of it, because even though, obviously, Rudy got reincarnated, and he starts from the beginning and all that, he isn't necessarily broken. He isn't necessarily OP. He's a very balanced character. He's someone that starts off basically like everyone else, and he learns to utilize these tools within this world in a way that other people potentially could, but they just don't. And I love the journey, the mystical vibes the series has to the background, and how it even has these slice of life moments, the whole Paul stuff, the emergency meeting and all that, to Paul and all that talking with Rudy, this father and son bonding, and how Paul is obviously not a good father, but he tries his best, and the whole family dynamic. There's a lot here, the slice of life nature of it, to just seeing Eris's growth as well. Eris as a character, really, man. Seeing her at the beginning, when I was watching this and just seeing how she acted as a person, holy crap, man. She is just night and day as a character. Like, when you see her bratty self and how she's basically a nightmare towards Rudy in the early stages, like when she's introduced, and then you see her at the end, like in Turning Point 2 here, like some of these scenes where she tries to save Rudy and all that, legitimately such an incredible character development, an incredible character. And I mean, even when she decides to leave him as well, and I know a lot of people think that's, a bad scene, but, Eris left Rudy at the end of season 1, clearly because she felt she was inferior and too weak for him, and that's why she left and all that. There's a lot of messages there, but I love the overall development of Eris as a character, Rudy as a character, honestly, our whole cast of characters. They really do a good job. Like, the writer of the series did a really good job with really giving just so much development to these characters in just a very short time frame. Because you gotta imagine, this is just a 24-episode series. This is the OVA, by the way. And within those 24 episodes, I gotta say, it told one of the best fantasy stories I have seen in a long time. I would dare say, since Re:Zero. Like, legit. I hold Re:Zero in very high regard. I think everybody knows that. Like, anyone that is an often watcher of my channel knows Re:Zero. You can disagree with me, that's fine. But Re:Zero is my favorite fantasy isekai series I have ever seen. It is outright amazing. I love that show. I love the series. I love the light novel, the web novel. I love it all. And, I've always just been absolutely stunned. The first day I laid eyes upon Re:Zero, it blew my mind. And then, obviously, I met a few bangers after that. Obviously with Overlord, I've read, Cautious Hero, different stuff like that. But nothing really really immersed me to such a high degree as Re:Zero until I got to Mushoku Tensei. To, the whole, debacle within the community. I remember when we had that second language that popped up, and there was just this whole moment within the community where people were trying to translate or figure out what was being said, and someone cracked the code and translated it. It's just crazy. I love moments like that within the community, and it's been a long time since I saw a series just bring a community together, and you had so much discussion around it. It's some of my favorite moments being a part of the anime community, is seeing moments like that. And I gotta say, dude, when this series comes back, it is going to be quite the time. It's supposedly coming back later this year. I'm correct? Don't quote me on that one. But, I really want this series to be back, man. Because I've read a little bit ahead with the light novel, I'll be honest. But it's still not the same. The light novel's great. Oh my goodness. I love the light novels. But it's still not the same as, let's say, watching it in movement. It's just something really, it tickles my fancy. And when I see how well done Studio Bine has done for this project, and then seeing what they're currently working on, Onimai, they're a really good team. Seriously, Studio Bine's staff and animators, they put a lot of hard work into what they work on. I mean, like I said, some of these scenes and all that animation sequences to character expressions is just something that blows my mind. I mean, I really love how distinct as well, Mushoku Tensei looks as an anime, because I know at first glance, it looks like a typical anime, but when you actually start to see it in movement, the way the line work and stuff is done, it's very unique. I really think that Mushoku Tensei has a very unique looking art style, at least for an anime, by the way things are drawn and in movement. I don't know, I think it fits the tones very well, but, yeah, I don't know. I wanted to briefly talk about this because I've been rewatching the show, and I just finished this episode 21, which is why I have this one open. But, I think that, man, I missed this show, and sitting down and giving it a rewatch was definitely worth it, because there's only a few shows I go back and rewatch every so often. Sometimes I sit down and I rewatch One Piece, and I know that's a long show, but I have rewatched One Piece, 4 times. Yeah, from start to finish. Not skipping, by the way. I've rewatched Dragon Ball Z and Super multiple times. I've watched the Kai version, and I also watched the regular version multiple times. I'm someone that goes back and I watch Re:Zero, obviously. Love Re:Zero. I went back to watch Overlord. There's a few shows I go back and I rewatch, like Steins Gate 2. And when I go back and I rewatch those shows, it usually, one thing that what that means to me as a person is that the show really has some great rewatchability. That it's something that even if you rewatch it, you will still get a similar amount of dopamine and enjoyment from it. And you'll also notice things that obviously weren't as noticeable when you first watched it, to some foreshadowing and character development, and just having an overall retrospective of the show, of just the growth of the characters and how the series really made a name for itself very early on with some very smart decisions. So, I mean, I just think that Mushoku Tensei, I think when that news comes out later this month, like for AnimeJapan, I'm gonna be just jumping for joy. I legit just, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Like, I'm so excited, man. I really am. To finally have just new information on it. What this person says here, honestly, just is really what I think. One of the best isekai stories of all time. Legit. I agree with that statement. I legit do. This is one of my favorite statements, actually, because it's, yeah. I really don't disagree with that. But, yeah, I don't know. This is a little bit of an off-topic video. I wanted to talk about Mushoku Tensei, because, like I said, I've been rewatching it, and I wanted to share my thought process. I know this isn't necessarily anything brand new, so to speak, but I was wanting to give a little bit of a retrospective of just how much my opinion of the show has changed since the first season aired. And I think as the seasons go on, the year goes on, or years go on since it aired, I've grown more and more fond of Mushoku Tensei, and I think as it continues to get older and older, I think that it will age like fine wine. I really do, because it has really aged very well as an anime, and it has really done a good job with just keeping my attention even though I know what is going to happen. That does say enough. But I guess I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know not everybody might care about this video. I don't know how many of you guys are still Mushoku Tensei fans. But thank you so much. May you have a very blessed day. Chibi out.